What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Average Gamer's Perspective on the TWID, also known as This Week in Destiny. All right, This Week in Destiny, we open more doors, so some could call them portals, into the Edge of Fate's Kepler destination. Armor 3.0 and our brand new gear tiering system. There's been so much to share lately, and today is no different. We'll be chatting more about our goals for the new systems and sharing more details about our updated season pass, the rewards pass. Here's the breakdown. Save the date again. Live stream recap. Armor 3.0 abilities, balancing and tuning, which will be good to know because I like abilities. Season pass updates, which will be interesting. What's going to bring people in. Bungie days coming soon. Let's dig in. All right, tune into our next developer stream, okay? This week was all about Armor 3.0, Gears, Tiers, and Sandbox. Next week, let's chat a bit more about Kepler and what's coming on with the Edge of Fate. How much you want to bet there's just going to be like, there's secrets, there's puzzles, we get to use new abilities, and this is what it's going to be like, and that's it. Because I feel like they're just kind of rehashing what we already know, but hopefully there's new stuff. Hopefully they go over a fun new activity. Hopefully it evolves over time and changes with like dark matter stuff. I don't know what they're going to do, but I want to see newness every week to where it'll get me coming back to do the same activity over and over again. Join us on Tuesday, July 1st at 10 a.m. PT for our second The Edge of Fate developer live stream. We're planning to give you a glimpse of the campaign, crank up the difficulty with the new world tier system, and let you see how this and all the other new sandbox changes come together. We'll also have the new dev team on the floor, ready to share many details about power, progression, the portal, guardian ranks, quality of life changes, and more. All right, so hopefully there's some new stuff in here that piques my interest as an average gamer. All right, everyone watching our developer live stream on the Bungie Twitch channel for at least 15 minutes and with their Bungie account linked will earn the Observer Effect emblem as a Twitch drop. Looks pretty good. Decent. I like it. Aeonians and Exiles and the Nine. Oh my. If you couldn't attend our first live stream for the Edge of Fate, we've got your back. First up, here's our developer insight discussing Kepler, a new destination that's home to the Ionians and the Exiles, the circumstances that have shaped their existence, and the conflict they find themselves in. Also, new destination abilities, baby. And that's pretty much what we know about the new destination, and I hope there's more. So hopefully on Tuesday we'll get a little bit more insight. Our developers also got to share more information about the new gear tiering system, where weapons and armor can gain bonuses the higher the tier, seasonal gear, and artifact, and how they will interact with each other, plus Armor 3.0. Okay. Department of External Observations, Incident Archive, item number 0881957, classification anomalous object, filed by Audit Agent Perry. Agent P. Description. A leather-bound binder locked by a numeric code black filled with the documentation regarding blank space. Actually, can I read what's highlighted? No. Filled with documentation regarding blank space and blank. The binder is scarred with an unknown residue, like rubberized mold, and an addition has been made to the pages within. Blank. Otherwise, the binder itself appears to retain its original properties and pages. Contains classified information. Information has been stricken from this audit. Agents may request access directly from Dear Moffat. Fair enough. Report. A DEO binder disappeared from a DEO test site on 032 blank 19 blankety blank. An anomalous object was found in the back lot outside DEO site number 7 on the ground. It has been confirmed on 3 separate occasions that this object is, in fact, the very same blank binder that the Internal Institute initiated this audit to recover. Interesting. There is no missing information, but the DEO cannot assume the information within has not been copied, and the addition to the binder's contents brings up questions of its origin. The II will transfer investigation of this matter to a more appropriate internal department equipped to analyze temporal blank. Discover more lore with the Year of Prophecy Collector's Edition, now available at Bungie.store. So there's the stuff you can get with the Collector's Edition. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. New armor for a new beginning. Armor 1.0 laid out the groundwork. Armor 2.0 built upon it with more perks and flair. And Armor 3.0 adds a whole new layer that will allow more build crafting opportunities than ever before. Here to talk about that is our Destiny 2 armor team. It's been a while since our core armor system received a refresh, hasn't it? Armor 2.0 has been with us since the release of Shadowkeep and has been integrated upon with each release since. From the introduction of stasis aspects, fragments, and the release of the prismatic subclass, it's held strong as the world changed around it. It's about time we gave it a well-earned refresh. With the release of the Edge of Fate, any new armor released will use the Armor 3.0 system. Don't worry, the armor rolls you already have won't change. They will just have their new stats moved over 1-to-1 as described a couple weeks ago. While this system was featured in the developer insight video linked above, here's a quick overview of how things will work. Set bonuses. All right, think of set bonuses like an origin trait for armor, a reflection of that armor's theme that you can fold into the way your build plays. Set bonuses are perks granted when you equip 2 or 4 pieces of armor from the same set. This allows you to either blend 2 separate sets or to commit 2 bonuses from the same set. Each set bonus has been built with both approaches in mind, and we're looking forward to seeing what you creative guardians manage to put together with these new tools. The benefits that set bonuses provide cover a pretty wide range of options, from brand new effects to more familiar tools in a new package. We've included a pair of examples below, and we've got quite a few more in store at launch. So if you'd prefer something better suited for staying in the fight or for Crucible dueling, there will be plenty of new toys to pick from. All right, here's the new armor set bonuses for 2 different sets. All right, armor archetypes. One of the major focuses for us when redesigning how armor works in the Edge of Fate was clarity. Not only do these changes help newer Guardians acclimate to more complex build crafting, but they also help experienced players quickly evaluate individual armor drops and decide what is the best fit for their build. Armor archetypes are a key part of that effort. Each Armor 3.0 has a randomly selected armor archetype. Each of the 6 available archetypes are themed around a specific playstyle and determine the 2 highest stats on each piece of armor. Each piece of armor will also roll with a tertiary or lowest stat randomly selected from the remaining 4 stats. The primary highest and second highest stats determined by your archetype make armor reliably spiky. We've also updated the Armored Ghost mods to increase the odds of a specific archetype dropping to make seeking out the best armor for you easier. Overall, we found the system makes it much easier to earn armor where its stats are landing where you need them to be, rather than in stats you don't want for your build. Correct. All right, here are the different archetypes. We got Paragon, Super Primary, Melee, Secondary. Grenadier, Grenade Primary, Super Secondary. Specialist, Class Primary, Weapon Secondary. Brawler, Melee Primary, Health Secondary. Bulwark, Health Primary, Class Secondary. Gunner, Weapons Primary, Grenade Secondary. Masterworking. With all the new and shiny armor set bonuses to try out, we wanted to make sure that it was easy to try out a new piece of armor, so we've updated the Masterworking system for any Armor 3.0 drops. All Armor 3.0 drops will have their maximum armor energy available regardless of Masterwork level. Masterworking armor no longer increases all stats. The amount granted by the primary, secondary, and tertiary stats rolled will not change, with the exception of armor mods. Masterworking now increases your lowest 3 stats on that piece of armor by +1 with each level. This has a maximum of +5 in each, or +15 stats total. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty decent for Masterworking the new armor system. Gear tiers. We kind of went over this a little bit, but a piece of gear's tier represents its quality and strength compared to other legendary drops. For example, higher tier weapons can drop with enhanced perks, special weapon mods, and at tier 5, unique visual effects. For armor, this primarily influences the total stats of each piece of gear. However, tiers 4 and 5 have a couple extra bonuses. An extra mod energy going to 11 at tier 4 and a randomly selected tuned stat in the tier 5. Tier 5 armor will also always drop with a perfect stat roll of 30 in its primary stat, 25 in its secondary stat, and 20 in its tertiary stat. Okay, so tier 1, 52 to 57, 67, 72. Tier 2, 58, 63, 73, 78. Tier 3, 64, 69, 79, 84. Tier 4, 70 to 75, 85 to 90, extra mod energy. Tier 5, 75, 90, extra mod energy, random tune stat. So tier 5s are pretty good. They're just going to be perfect all the time. So that'll be pretty good. Armor with a tune stat has access to a tuning mod slot, allowing you to choose between moving 5 stats from any other stat to your tune stat, or balance tuning, which increases the armor's 3 lowest stats by 1. With all of these changes, you might think that your current armor just won't cut it anymore, but that is not the case. Legacy gear will be useful and a great on-ramp into the new system. We'll have more information on how to earn higher gear tiers, specifics on weapon tiers, and more in an upcoming article. Fair enough. New gear. Okay, so this is a new spot, or a new armor set. Okay, so this is the speed booster one. Meh. Like I said in my previous video, I think this is kind of boring for a, just as an average player. Like, I don't like that I have to use a specific weapon, and I don't like that it's just make me move faster or run faster. Like, there are plenty of other ways to do that. I want something that'll either boost or change my weapons or abilities, you know? I think that would be really cool. We also took a look at seasonal gear and refactored it into new gear to provide focus for build crafting throughout the game's various activities. New gear can offer more lethality and PvE content, drop with seasonal bonus power, and receive bonuses from the current seasonal artifact. It is easily identifiable with a unique colored border and icon background so that you'll always be able to find it. Specific weapons will also be considered new gear. There will even be an exclusive PvP playlist where players must use new gear to face off against each other with the intention being to create a more even playing field for new players and to test out builds for those who want to experiment. Interesting. New gear will include a 10% bonus for weapon damage and a 15% bonus damage resistance. These bonuses will not apply to PvP or the contest mode of the upcoming raid. We'll have additional information at a later date on how this system works, what gear qualifies, and more. Exotic armor. Long term, we hope to eventually add support for exotics to access the benefits of a higher tier using a dedicated system that reflects their nature as a unique centerpiece in your builds. Although this system won't be ready for the Year of Prophecy, we wanted to make sure that exotic armor could benefit from armor archetypes and the reworked masterworking system. While your existing rolls will be converted 1-to-1 to the new stats, new drops of exotic armor will be upgraded to Armor 3.0. This means they will have their stats determined by archetypes, receive the new masterworking system, and drop with full mod energy by default. While these drops will not have a specific gear tier, their stats will roll as if they were tiered to 58 to 63 total stats. Once masterworked, this should be comparable to all but the very best Armor 2.0 rolls. Okay. So it's basically like our exotics will be equivalent to the very best that Armor 2.0 has to offer. And I think that'll be around tier 3 armor in Armor 3.0, as far as I know, but that's as far as I know. To make this transition a little easier, Ada 1 will be offering 20 free focused exotic armors per account to anyone who has tower access prior to the release of the Edge of Fate. This special focusing will be available throughout the Year of Prophecy and will allow you to focus any non-class item exotic from the final shape or before with an archetype of your choice, as long as you have it unlocked in collections. Interesting. I like that you can now focus your certain armor pieces. As for the exotic class items, they are the only armor from before the Edge of Fate that will be converted fully into the new system. Each one will receive the maximum stats available for an exotic: 30 in the primary stat, 20 in the secondary stat, and 13 in the tertiary stat. To prevent this from massively increasing the number of possible class item rolls, these stats will be assigned based on their rolled perks, the archetype being determined by the left column perk and the tertiary stat by the right column perk. However, this does not mean that they can no longer be upgraded to Artifice armor and will lose any existing Artifice mod slot. Okay, so here's some examples. Okay, I like that. It's based on these abilities. I wish they also told us like +5 to blankety blank, depending on the stats, so we can get an idea of which each one does, you know? But that's just me. Let's talk about gear swapping. We want to highlight one specific change we're making to a specific Warlock exotic chest armor come July 15th that we missed in last week's TWID. For those who aren't too deep in build crafting, many Guardians have been leveraging an interesting strategy mid-combat or boss DPS, with exotics like Sanguine Alchemy, where they swap gear to take advantage of alternate exotic bonuses that better fit the current point in the encounter's flow. This is to maximize their efficiency and output, resulting in pumping out some incredible boss bakes, especially in ultimatum dungeons. While we fully applaud those throughout the community who want to push the needle as far as it can go, we found that this is presenting balance issues where it feels mandatory, and we don't feel the main draw of the exotic should be centered around swap-centric strategies. Alright, so here's the update to Sanguine Alchemy. Swapping to this exotic in combat will now apply a 10-second cooldown before its perk can be activated. Much like the changes to melee stacking in last week's TWID, we want to be able to make the exotics that meaningfully change your gameplay, and at current, these types of behavior are constructing how much we can push that bar. The above change is a minor first step that's targeting one exotic during our launch window, but we'll be taking a larger approach later this year. When this holistic fix is implemented, we will re-examine this change and see if it is still necessary. Alright, featured exotics. Starting the Edge of Fate, certain exotic armor and weapons will be separately centered, gaining the same benefits as new gear, and will change with each expansion and major update. At the Edge of Fate's launch, 28 exotic weapons and 15 exotic armors for each class will be featured, including all new The Edge of Fate exotic weapons and armor. But don't worry, even if your favorite isn't on the list, you'll still be able to use it almost everywhere you go. Okay, start with Warlocks. We got Fellwinter's Helm, Fallen Sunstar, Nothing Manacles, Balador's Wrathweavers, Starfire Protocol, Wings of Sacred Dawn, Mantle of Battle Harmony, Matiodoxia, whatever. You Warlocks get it. Rhymecoat, Raiment, Geomech Stabilizers, Prometheum Spur, Boots of the Assembler, Second Filaments, Swarmers, and Eunoia. Whatever. Alright, for Hunter, we got the Dragon Shadow, Mask of Bacchus, Blight Ranger, Sidarachne's Facade, Mask of Fealty, Kepri Sting, Oathkeepers, Athos' Embrace, Renewal Grasp, Caliban's Hand, Gifted Conviction, Lucky Pants, Star Eater Scales, Speedloader Slacks, and Moirai. Alright, for Titan, we got Precious Scars, Worm God Caress, Ursa Furiosa, Icefall Mantle, Point Content Cannon Brace, Pyrogale Gauntlets, Wishful Ignorance, Crest of Alpha Lupi, Actium War Rig, MK44 Standicides, Peregrine Greaves, Phoenix Cradle, The Path of Burning Steps, Abeyant Leap, and Melis Panoplia, whatever. Alright, for weapons, we got Dead Man's Tale, Wicked Implement, Outbreak Perfected, Barodiad, Lumina, Wishkeeper, New Land Beyond, Agar Scepter, The Navigator, Arbalest, Centrifuge, Tommy's Matchbook, Choir of One, Polaris Lance, Graviton Lance, Ariana's Vow, Devil's Ruin, Hierarchy of Needs, Slayer's Fang, Lodestar, Legend of Acrius, Microcosm, Winterbite, Worldline Zero, Finalities Augur, Third Iteration, Graviton Spike, and Redacted. My favorite kind of weapon, balancing the scale of abilities. Stats and abilities go hand in hand, so it's only fitting that we share the remaining upcoming ability changes coming to the Edge of Fate. If you recall, we spoke about melee tuning and other various ability changes in last week's TWID, so check out that info. We spoke about Prismatic's changes a few weeks ago, but to summarize, it's been a bit too hot since release and has made some challenges trivial, so we're reining it in to be more in line with other subclasses. Alright, Warlock Prismatic. Reduce the number of fragment slots provided by the following aspects. Hellion from 3 to 2. Bleakwatcher from 3 to 2. Dev note, the abilities per minute of the Prismatic subclasses are very high, so we're pulling a small amount of efficiency out of their engines to achieve a healthier balance of gunplay and ability usage. Looking forward, we'll be working on making sure the Prismatic subclasses feel like they have a variety of great builds. Alright, Prismatic / Strand. Weaver's Call aspect. Can now generate threadlings on any final blow instead of just strand final blows. Dev note, the change will allow for easier threadling generation regardless of your build. Void, Pocket Singularity, Melee. Increased Pocket Singularity's damage versus non-boss combatants by 20%. Increased Pocket Singularity damage versus boss combatants by 56%. Nice. Dev note, Pocket Singularity was feeling weak compared to other melees, especially given its relatively short range. Fair enough. Good job, Warlocks. You got some buffs, a little bit of nerfs here and there, but that's fine. Titan, you ready? Prismatic. Reduce the number of fragment slots provided by the following aspect. Consecration from 3 to 2. Rest in peace, Consecration. Solar, Consecration aspect. Increase fragment slots provided from 2 to 3. Alright, that's nice. Dev note, we've given consideration Consecration an additional fragment slot to the Solar subclass to put it above its Prismatic counterpart. The pure concentrated Solar subclass should have an edge here. I agree. Good thinking. Prismatic / Strand. Dringer's Lash aspect. Increased tracking strength of base suspend wave and Aberrant Leap exotic armor suspend wave. Increased base suspend while traveling distance from 20 meters to 30 meters. Increased Aberrant Leap suspend wave travel distance from 30 to 35 meters. Dev note, we've seen community feedback that this ability could use some help, so we've made it more forgiving. Fair enough. Prismatic Solar, Consecration aspect. Ignition no longer has plus 20% bonus damage. I mean, that's fair. They do a lot of ignition damage. Like, that's their whole thing. So it makes sense, you know. Dev note, we've made this change to match the other ignition damage scaling changes we mentioned in last week's TWID, making ignition damage consistent across the board. Void, Shield Throw Melee. Increased projectile tracking strength by 77%. Dev note, this melee can be hard to land in the heat of the moment, so we've made it track enemies more aggressively. I like that. That's a very much needed change for Void Titans. Arc. Storm's Keep aspect. Benefits no longer stack when standing behind multiple barricades. Dev note, Storm's Keep stacking resulted in faster than intended bolt charge accrual, so we've limited the number of Storm Keep's barricades a Guardian can benefit from to 1. Good change. Alright, now for the one that I've been looking for. Hunters. General. Gambler's Dodge. Melee energy return no longer requires dodging near an enemy. Dev note, with the armor stat changes coming to the Edge of Fate, sources of ability energy will now scale based on your ability stats. This includes Gambler's Dodge. Because this ability now requires some stat investment to get a full charge back, we're removing the requirement that you dodge near an enemy for this perk to work. This will make the dodge feel more consistent, returning energy on every dodge instead of only when there are enemies in an invisible circle around the hunter. I like this change a lot. Very good change, especially for melee builds, and what they showed off in the dev video that we watched in the last video. So I think it'll be really beneficial. Prismatic. Reduce the number of fragment slots provided by the following aspects. Ascension from 3 to 2. Winter Shroud from 3 to 2. Fair enough. Makes sense. Prismatic Solar. Gunpowder Gamble aspect. Reduce self-damage from Gunpowder's Gamble detonation by 60%. Thank you so much. I've hurt myself way too many times from this stupid grenade. Final blows of all kinds now grant gunpowder gamble progress instead of just solar kills. Dev note, blowing yourself up with gunpowder gamble is frustrating, so we're significantly reducing the self-damage it does if you're too close to the detonation, and we're making it easier to build stacks. That's a good change. It'll be very nice for all of those gunpowder gamble builds. Solar on your mark aspect. Final blows while at 3 stacks of on your mark now make you radiant for a short time. Activating your class ability now gives 1 stack of on your mark instead of 3 stacks. Dev note, we think Gunslinger needs more access to radiant, so we're essentially allowing them to reach a 4th stack of on your mark in the form of radiant. But beyond this, we'll be focusing on further improving Gunslinger's kit in an upcoming release. Interesting. That'll be nice. Arc. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Ascension aspect. Ascension can now activate the following perks. Armor mods: Reaper, Powerful Attraction, Outreach, Distribution, Bomber, Dynamo. Very nice. It can now it works with a lot of other things. Make it more useful. Exotics. Heart of Inmost Light class item. Gerfalcon's Reserve Overshield. Alright. Fair enough. That's actually a pretty nice change for Ascension. All right, all classes. General. Increased damage versus bosses, mini-bosses, and champions by 15% for these grenades. Arc. Flux Grenade, Arc Bolt Grenade, Flashbang Grenade, Storm Grenade. Very nice. Void. Axion Bolt Grenade, Suppressor Grenade, Solar, Firebolt Grenade, Trip Mine Grenade, Kinetic, The Rock Grenade, Forerunner. Makes sense. All damage types. Ability energy returns from perks and passive regen now scales based on the requisite stat. Dev note, we covered this topic in a recent TWID. Yes, we did. Void. Devour. Reduce Devour heal amount from 200 HP to 140 HP. Nerf. Dev note, Devour has been far and away the most effective form of healing available, and a full heal on every proc feels excessive. This change will better balance Devour against other healing sources and gives more value back-to-back procs. Yep, makes sense. Strand. Suspend. Increased base suspend duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. Dev note, to better balance suspend against other crowd control options, we've increased the duration by a second, giving players more time to burn down enemies or prioritize their targets. I like this change. Suspend kind of needed a little bit of this buff to help out what it could do. Stasis. Stasis Shatter. Stasis Shatter damage now stuns Overload champions instead of unstoppable champions. Huge. Dev note, moving forward, we want to make it clearer how and when weapons can gain anti-champ capabilities from sources like the artifact or radiant. Because stacking Stasis Slow originally leads to Stasis Shatter, it limited how often we could give slow to certain weapons without auto-solving champion encounters. Overload champions are also harder to deal with than unstoppable champions in general, so more ways to bring down Overload champions feels valuable. Unstoppable champions can still be stunned by 3 other elemental verbs: Blind, Ignition, and Suspend. Alright, Arc. Flux Grenade significantly reduce base cooldown time, increase projectile size to make it a bit easier to stick to targets. Thank you so much. It's so difficult to throw that thing sometimes. We still want Flux Grenade to be a high damage skill shot, but the long cooldown and high accuracy required were too punishing. Agreed. New rewards pass incoming. Alright, so here's the new season pass and kind of what it's going to look like. It's a new era of Destiny 2, and with that comes exciting updates to our seasonal pass model. Much like the olden times, there will be 4 rewards passes available during the Year of Prophecy, and just like before, the cost for these rewards passes is being reduced to 1,000 silver. But what we're really excited to announce is that every rank reward will be available to earn day 1. No more having to wait for a new act to launch to unlock more ranks. We've adjusted them to feel more rewarding too. I could see that. This feels way more rewarding. Like, you get a lot more stuff for doing it. These are going to be really useful. The you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. For one, we've refactored some boosts and added new ones, removing some that were determined to be less than desirable. The new boosts offer comprehensive bonuses to apply to a wide range of content as opposed to narrowly boosting specific season content. Activity Score Boost now provides a 15% score bonus on all portal activities when fully unlocked. Prime Engram Boost increases the possibility of desirable armor and weapon drops from portal activities. Weekly Challenges Boost allows players to complete their various weekly seasonal hub challenges faster, streamlining their access to additional high-value rewards. XP Boost. This has been refactored to apply a 40% bonus to XP earnings when fully unlocked, along with a 20% bonus to Fireteam member XP. Additionally, the total number of XP Boost items has been reduced to make space for additional rewards. Makes sense to me. Secondly, Premium Track Armor rewards have also been reworked so that players will acquire a full set of both PvE and PvP armor, and the free track will offer 5 pieces split between the two sets, allowing players to unlock a partial set bonus for each. Thirdly, we took a pass at our reward allocation to ensure that we are providing as much value as possible for all players. The allocation of various free rewards has been increased, and players will be able to acquire more cosmetic rewards within the first 100 ranks of the pass compared to prior season passes. With a return to 4 passes per year, we've reduced the pass ranks down to 110. Why the extra 10, you may ask? Well, they're extra special. All right, well, that kind of gives you more reason to play longer. While we set out to reduce the overall grind and remove the time gating introduced during episodes, we still wanted to preserve some aspects of the aspirational progression and chase rewards that our larger season passes provided. These additional 10 ranks are packed with valuable rewards for both free and premium players, require 500,000 XP each to earn, and can only be acquired through gameplay. While we have ensured that the first 100 ranks provide more value than ever before, we hope that you also enjoy having additional rewards to chase after achieving rank 100. That's nice. They're pretty much giving more for the free pass and for the entire pass in general. So far, good as change. Still monetization, but that's going to stay. Bungie Day is almost here. No, we didn't name this day ourselves, our community did, and we'll have more to share about the Day of 7 soon. As part of our annual celebration of you, the Bungie Foundation team is back to host another iteration of Celebrity Chaos. As part of their continuing mission to help reduce distress and suffering in children through entertainment and partner with humanitarian aid organizations in times of natural disaster and crisis, the team is here to talk about 7th Column Chaos. Hey there, Guardians. Bungie Day is right around the corner, and we can't wait to once again celebrate the chaos, competition, and compassion of our Lightkeeper community. Bungie Day officially kicks off on 7/7 and will run through 7/29, and with it returns the second edition of our 7th Column Chaos PvP tournament. 16 teams made up of Bungie Foundation supporters will sweat it out in the Crucible, battling through chaos modifiers to earn bragging rights and bring glory to their NPC mascots. Will the Sweeper Bot lead Dust Bunnies and Team Captain Clean Plays be champs this year? Or maybe returning winner Defizzle and Colonel's Revenge will push for the title again. Let's lock in and have some fun for a good cause. Matches begin on 7/7, so stay tuned to the Bungie Foundation social channels for the match times. Okay, so here's all the matches. Looks fun. I like all of the different mascots, the BFFs. Fair enough. Of course, with the new campaign comes a fresh new wave of rewards to power the work we do together, improving children's health and well-being through our Little Lights program, delivering rapid humanitarian relief, and building inclusive, welcoming communities for all. We're bringing back 7 fan-favorite emblems, plus an awesome slate of brand new items, so you can rep the Bungie Foundation and push our vital work even farther. We'll have more details to share soon. That's a nice emblem. Not gonna lie. Nice emblem. All right, and then there's going to be a summer sale going on for Destiny. Dang, Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, 90% off. Final Shape is going to be like 80% to 75% off. 92% off Lightfall, Witch Queen Beyond Light Pack, Shadowkeep Pack, Forsaken Pack. That's pretty good. So all of you new players out there, this is going to be a huge opportunity for you to get in the game while everything is going to be super duper cheap. Okay. So if you are looking to get into the game and have everything unlocked for you, this is it. This is going to be your time to get what you want and get what you need. All right, so that is it for this TWAB or this TWID or whatever it's called now for this week in Destiny. They went over a lot of things, a lot of ability things as well, with how abilities are going to react with the new stat system that's coming in. So overall, good change. They're laying the foundations of a great game. I'm super excited to see what they do. Do I wish they did a Destiny 3 with all of these new changes instead? Yeah. The game probably would feel a lot better, a lot more polished, with a lot more ways to evolve the game with the Destiny 3. But I am happy that they are making these changes. The game has needed a foundational change for a long time. Do I think they should have waited on those changes for a later expansion? Yeah. I think they should have waited to do that for like Renegades. I think they should have made these changes because I think this expansion, Edge of Fate, needs the flashiness. It needs all of the newness with activities, and it just needs a lot more new eye-catching things because your player base, Bungie, has fallen off since the final shape, like a lot, because that was the end of a saga. If you wanted to start a new one, it needs to be flashy, it needs to be eye-catching, it needs to be like, holy crap, like, this is a lot of new stuff. Like, I need to get my hands into all this new stuff. But right now, it's just a lot of under the covers, like under the bed kind of foundational changes. It's not very catching to the eyes. You're probably not going to get a lot of new players to play the game. Your numbers are probably going to stay pretty stagnant unless the story and the gameplay feels amazing and like you did introduce a lot of new stuff into the world and into the story and campaign and all that stuff. Then you're probably going to be bringing back quite a few people. But from an average gamer's perspective, I would have liked to see a lot more flashy things at the start of a new expansion to start off like a new saga. But that's just me as an average gamer. And that is my perspective on This Week in Destiny. Thank you all for coming and watching. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, I got a Twitch channel at Security Denied if you want to come over and watch me play some games every now and again. I'm working on getting a set schedule, but my work has been all over the place. But hopefully soon I can get a set schedule and actually commit to doing it. But thank you all for coming and watching. You being here supports me a lot and keeps me encouraged to doing it. So until next time, we'll see you.